Welcome back to the channel. Today we are in Whittier, California at Whittier High School, also known as Hill Valley High School in Hill Valley, home of Marty McFly and Back to the Future. They're doing a fundraiser to raise money to save their auditorium, and since this was a primary filming location for Back to the Future, we have a tour of all the sites, bunch of cool cars, we have dinner, and of course we're going to watch Back to the Future in the auditorium. So let's check it out. Again, thanks for watching. It's your first time here. Please like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. And let's go see everything that is Back to the Future. Of course, they have a plethora of DeLoreans with clever license plates. McFly 101, B to the Future, Power of Love. Wow.
I was going to buy it originally, and I didn't. From that, I didn't. And he was well off it.
That's pretty cool. Of course, we have the administration building. Let's go check out the tour. Okay, we have our tour book. All the locations from 1 and 2. And the map.
Welcome. My job's very easy because this is a very obvious photo op, but this is Hill Valley High School. You see it in the 80s when it's kind of run down and grimy when he's running late for Strickland, which he's always late because he's a slacker. And then in the 50s when he has to make sure his parents fall in love and he comes in his 50s garb, he's about right here and he says, wow, they really cleaned this place up. Doc trips over a bicycle and then they go inside. That's really all I have to say. If you have any questions, let me know, but take some photos. If you want me to take your photo, let me know, and then they're going to shoo you through the school for more, okay? You can use this for reference if you want. Photos?
Fun fact, about 20 years ago, I applied for a job here and was inside waiting for the interview and looked down the hallway and recognized it as a location for Back to the Future, and I spent the entire interview talking about the movie. Didn't get the job, surprise enough.
Where Doc and Marty kind of walk up to the school in 1955 and they walk inside. The next scene inside these halls is the immediate scene after that, okay? And it's this scene where we see Doc and Marty kind of like looking out for George, okay? And that scene happens over here. So let's have everybody move down this way. That scene happens over here. Doc and Marty, you can tell because of the stairs here. And they're looking for George. George is somewhere over here. And then they see it, cuts away. We see George with a kick me sign. Doc says, are you sure you weren't adopted? Strickland shows up, so that's down this hallway. So everything's happening now over here. Marty walks over here, says, hey George, remember me? I got somebody I want you to meet. And then they walk this way. Now a good chunk of this whole sequence in this part is like long takes, long shots. He walks over here, and then over here is Lorraine and her friends. Now there's some lockers in the movie. Those were put in there. There's no lockers in this building, there's never been. In the other building, when you see the scene with Jennifer and Marty, there's lockers there because that's where they've always been. So they install these lockers here, and then George, and you guys want to come down this way? George and Marty are here. We see Doc a shot of Doc peeking over, watching them, as an adult does in a high school. That's in this corner here. He's watching them right over here. And then Lorraine and Babs and the other girl run off this way. And then here we'll have this scene here. Now, you guys stay here, but essentially this is the scene with Doc and Marty where they walk up and down this hall. And they go, you know, my mother has the hots for me. We got to get them back together. This is all one long take. So if you rewatch the movie, notice how it's one long take almost entirely through this hallway. And they walk down this way. I'm going to take you guys for your stuff outside. Doc notices Enchantment of the Sea dance, the rhythmic ceremonial ritual, and that's this shot in this direction. You guys want to see it? Now you guys are free to walk around, take pictures of anything you want, use this as a reference if you want until the next tour group comes. If you want to do more pictures, you'll stay for the next tour and you can take more pictures, but otherwise, when they come, you should move along with it.
This doorway. So I'll start. So this is Strickland's office. So in Back to the Future Part 2, in the Part 2 movie, during the dance, Strickland confiscates the sports almanac from Biff Tannen, and he goes back to his office to pour himself an alcoholic drink into his coffee cup to take a brief break during the dance. And then Marty sneaks in, Marty's trying to steal the almanac away from Strickland. And so the office space is it's a real working office space right now, so we can't go inside. But it's actually an office space within this door. Behind the other door is Strickland's office space. And at some point during Strickland's break, during the dance, he peeks out the window, check out what's going outside. And then Marty, of course, in Part 2, steals the almanac, only realizes not the full almanac, but only just the cover, that Biff was hiding the girly magazine, Ooh La La, inside. And then Marty, during Part 2, looks out the window too and sees that outside the car is Lorraine and George as well. So, but it's not funny in real life. The current school security office is actually inside here as well. So it's kind of fitting that. Well, I don't know. It's kind of parallel. In the movie, it was Strickland's office, and then real life, Whittier High today, is the school security office inside.
Cool. Nice.
But then when you go outside, you can see the other side of this window from the other side. That's it from this spot.
Thank you.
Terry, you're welcome.
Did they film a lot of Part 2 back in the high school?
There's Part 1, obviously all the obvious Part 1 scenes there, but there's actually a decent amount of Part 2 scenes filmed here too. But they got interspersed between, so as you probably know, the school dance, like the actual Enchantment Under the Sea dance was filmed at the Hollywood United Presbyterian Church. So the inside of the school dance is not here, but the exterior buildings outside the dance, exterior hallways, running around the school was all here at Whittier High. But the inside dance, the Hollywood Presbyterian Church is right next to the Hollywood Bowl. If you've ever been to the Hollywood Bowl in Hollywood, down the hill, there's a gigantic church with a red ribbon on it. So inside the gymnasium of the Hollywood Presbyterian Church is the actual filming location of the dance. But they filmed and they edited the film so well between scenes inside the school dance, filmed at the gymnasium at Hollywood Presbyterian Church. But then all the exteriors, where they're outside, the parking lot, and all of that is here at Whittier High. Great, thanks everyone. That's it for the stuff.
Thanks.
Yeah. Before you see George McFly punch Biff in the face right by the car. That's the little reference shot room. The doors have been replaced. The windows used to be a lot bigger, but the top portion is the same. This used to be painted different color. And then behind you, the second set of windows is the windows that the principal's looking out of, and then Marty's punched down below. If you care to see the outside of that. They're closed, you can't look in, but it's probably a very modern day office. Yes.
Was the fence here when they filmed it?
I don't know the answer to that. Actually, the gentleman there next to the Marty in all black, he actually was a student here when it was being filmed. He might actually know the answer. A lot of this, he said, was not here. I mean, obviously the trees, a lot of this concrete and everything were not here during filming. They changed a lot, including that you're going to see the gate that he jumps over, the staircase that he jumps over the railing. Somebody just pointed out to me that was there in Part 1, but not in Part 2, because they needed it gone. and then they put it back after that. So if you look in the background of it, because they filmed here more than once, you'll see a lot of differences just in that short period of time.
Cool.
Yeah, kind of cool. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
What months did they film the movie?
Don't know the answer to that. I don't know. Like I said, actually, I want to pick his brain because, like I said, he went to school here while it was going on. I'm curious because a lot of the alumni are here. So if they remember it, I'm assuming that they had to be filming for
Yeah, I think so. What's that? Oh, tell that guy was in the movie. I don't get on.
They started going steady and the rest of my soul. He outpopped the buzzard and the Oreo. He rocks in the treetop all the day long. Up and up and up.
Fifth office or Strickland's office right there.
Get them caught up when they get here. This area here is called the Horseshoe, and this is where Marty and Lorraine park during the encampment under the sea dance. You see the library there behind me. That's featured in this shot right here. You can also kind of see some of these different buildings here that were used during the dance scene. We also see this in Back to the Future too, where Marty tries to get the sports almanac from Biff. And then there you can see the stairs, which you will see in your next stop. But if you'd like to come and look at any of this closer, feel free. You're also welcome to take some pictures with the cars as long as you do not touch the cars. And over there, we have an actual screen used vehicle, the red Ford there.
All right.
Yeah, it was a spring used vehicle.
Oh, no.
So right there is Strickland's office. You can look out and saw them here. Strickland's house is across the street. You can't see it from here, but it's over there.
Back to the Future Part 2. And it's the stairwell scene where Marty comes out of the auditorium, which those doors are open at the top like that, and he's looking for Biff, and Biff is leaning against this stairway, reading what Marty thinks is the almanac. And Biff is just running through it, and so Marty jumps over the railing down the stairs, and then he's trying to take the almanac out of Biff's back pocket, while Biff's being apprehended by Strickland for drinking. And then Strickland takes the almanac and walks off towards his office, so Marty follows Strickland. And so he comes out. So this railing was, well, the barrier wasn't there. The railing was much shorter at the top as well, that Marty jumped over. Prepared a picture of that, you see it there.
Did he actually really jump?
Well, there'll have been Charlie, which Charlie was Michael J. Fox's stunt guy. So, but he did, and it shows him do the full jump in the movie. It shows the shot where he lands. So there was no like padding. He actually landed on stairs. Feel free to take pictures, stuff if you need a shot as well.
That's where the stunt double jumped and landed down there.
So if you guys want to get photos, want to stand this way and point this way at the doors, like match up the screenshot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You want to see it? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, let's get out of the way. People taking pics, and I don't think they'll want to. Yeah, right where she's standing. Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Okay, who's hiding next?
Yeah. Sorry, let me start over again. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the alternate 1985. This is from Back to the Future Part 2, where you see Marty McFly come in between those two DeLoreans. The DeLoreans weren't in the movie, by the way. In between these two pillars, and he runs down this street right here towards that blue house, which is Mr. Strickland's house. And that's where you hear Mr. Strickland say, "Eat lead, slackers," right? So, I'll have one thing to say. Please do not go towards the house. Please do not go bug Mr. Strickland. He's going to call you guys a bunch of slackers. But either way, if you guys want to take pictures within this area. Don't go towards the house. I mean, at your own, time, you guys can do whatever, but I mean, that's not me. But I just want to go ahead and show you these pictures right here, just to show you in reference of the movie. So you'll see here in between the middle pillar, which is, right, like I said, right in between the two DeLoreans. That's where Marty is running towards Strickland's house. So if everybody's seeing that picture right there, go ahead and show you guys. And then I have another one here, which is where he's closer, and he's towards Strickland's front porch. So if everybody sees that right there. Yeah. And how many kids do we have here? We have one. Just one? Group? Okay. If I could have the little man here take a picture with Courtney McFly, he could win a prize at the end of the tour. Go ahead and hold this, buddy. Have your parents take a picture of you.
So Marty came out of here, Back to the Future 2, ran down there to the blue house.
All right, go right in the middle.
And that was Strickland's house. I'm sorry.
1, 2, 3, boom, done.
Sir, can I?
Up to the other side of the auditorium, i.e. the dance hall. Walk through this way, folks. You can fill in the area. Got a bigger group right now going through. All right. Can everybody hear me back there? Yep. All right. Great. So this is the location in Back to the Future Part 2 where you're going to see Marty as he's looking at Lorraine and George, and he's looking at the old Ridge of himself, and we're wrapping up the events of part 1, right? Just right before that great scene. And you see Marty, this door had a window, so he's looking out the window, and in the distance he's waiting, right? And as he's waiting, you'll see Biff sneak up on him, and you know the rest, right? So you see Almanac, but if you turn your attention that way, you'll see this scene here in the stairwell, and you'll see those actual stairs are the ones that Michael J. Fox goes up to get to the roof. Now the roof scene wasn't made here, but everything else was. So I'm let my partner over here give you a little more details from part 1 specifically too.
Yeah, so this corridor was used in both Back to the Future 1 and 2. In part 1, you can see right around here, Biff's friends take Marty and throw him into Marvin Berry's trunk with the keys. And in part 2, we also see Marty run down the corridor before Biff kicks him and takes the almanac. So, right here is where Biff's friends take Marty.
take some pictures. You got about 1 or 2 minutes before your crew's gonna move on. You got another location here to wrap up. Otherwise, yeah, hang out.
Take a picture with us.
And then, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Scene in Back to the Future. This is where Marty tries to convince George to ask out Lorraine. His organ like that, looking this way. The conversation is interrupted when Marty sees Biff harassing Lorraine. Marty will turn that way, that's 30 later than over there. Marty confronts Biff. They are about to fight. Right there, although this is the same location, the original cafeteria building used in the film was torn down and rebuilt in 2009 restoration.
Oh.
So,
Oh, yeah.
turbo organ here.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Oh, yes. Hey. I recognize that spot.
Just put it back. Put it back over there.
Oh, yeah. That's rebuilt 2009.
And last trip comes this way, and
Oh, I can
let's
see.
see that close door to there. Okay, right.
I have no idea.
All right, we had the tour, a lot of fun. We just had some dinner, sponsored by a local pizza place, and now we're going to go watch the movie in the high school auditorium, which should be awesome with a bunch of fans. They're going to have a Q&A beforehand with some people who were in the movie as extras when it came out, people who went to school here when it came out. So it should be a lot of fun. Talk to you afterwards. It was fun. They had a Q&A with several people who were students at the time, including a young guy who interviewed Michael J. Fox for the school paper. I'm in the balcony right now. We saw the show. It was fun seeing with a lot of people who love the movie and are here. And that's all. And thanks for watching. And again, please like, please subscribe, please comment, all that fun stuff. And we'll see you next time when we see where the road takes us. Bye.